Welcome to the Sentinel Week 5 recap. I'm Perry Mattern alongside Jake Adams, and as you can see, Jake picked more games correctly than I did. Unfortunately, I was 4-7. Jake was 8-3, picking high school football games this weekend. And so here is my punishment. Hopefully this week I can get out of this shirt. But before we get to this week's game, let's recap last week's games. Our quick snaps. Let's first start in Carlisle, where the Thundering Herd wins 61-7 over Mifflin County, a game that I picked Mifflin County. You took Carlisle more than correctly in a blowout.
Yeah, and from a basically longtime Carlisle fan, Hutch, there, we believe that it's been 50 years since they scored that many points, 1965. Defense that game, I think, was kind of an untold story. Set up Carlisle just to be able to chuck it wherever they wanted to. Excellent field position all night long, blowing up plays in the backfield all night.
Plenty of momentum there for the Thundering Herd, and they now move to 3-2 on the year. CD East beats Cumberland Valley 28-0. Unfortunate game there for the Eagles, where the defense was surprisingly beat up, and then also the offense just a no-show. I
think it was kind of a combination of just what's been going on the past few weeks. It finally caught up to them. CD East put up 350 yards. Cumberland Valley put up 137, 2 yards per carry too. I mean, this is what I think will happen if this offense doesn't improve dramatically soon.
It's unfortunate how difficult this Eagles schedule has been. McDevitt, Harrisburg, and CD East all in 3 weeks. Maybe they just need a little bit of a break when it comes opponent-wise. James Buchanan beat Big Spring 28-17. Big Spring has lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean it's not very different from last year too. It would have been the same way if not for the forfeit against Bowling Springs last year. So it's got to be kind of because of this passing game. I think there's just not enough balance on offense to get any sort of respect from the defense to stay away from both Tristan Robb and Tristan Cooper.
And Tristan Robb over 150 yards, but still not enough in that game. Redland beat Susquehanna Township 46-42. Big comeback win for the Patriots. I took the underdog, Susquehanna Township, and they almost pulled off the upset, but now the Patriots are 5-0.
Halftime, you were sitting pretty there, up 21-10, but Redland chipped away, stayed a 10-point game until 4 minutes left in the game, it looks like, and then Garrett Scott to Hunter Briner for 69 yards out with 4 minutes left, made it a 3-point game. They got the ball back, then they drove down the field, faced 4th and 4, got that, converted a 1-yard touchdown run with Phil Overton to go ahead, and then recovered a fumble on the kickoff to seal it. And that was despite giving up 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown.
Unbelievable game, just probably a crazy one to be in attendance for, and we could probably talk for another 10 minutes just about that game. Middletown beat West Perry 39-6. The Mustangs, good start in that game. They were tied early after a Jacob Owens touchdown, and then it was all Blue Raiders after that.
We were talking about it at the beginning, or before last week, that you made him your player to watch, Jacob Owens, and he finally got in the end zone, so it's good to see from him. He's been one of the few bright spots on a team that, again, Friday, we saw that this defense just can't hold up.
Milton Hershey beat Camp Hill 25-23. The Lions almost came back, just ran out of time and missed a field goal as time expired in that game. And the Spartans' defense was a little too much for this high-flying attack.
Yeah, it's no surprise there. This is easily the toughest game the Lions had, so it was a big measuring stick game for them. They gave up 400 yards overall, 300 on the ground, which again isn't much of a surprise. The offense though was held to 51 yards rushing with Bill Williams. It's a little bit shocking, but still that Milton Hershey defense is pretty solid. So for them to finish a 2-point conversion away from winning that game, not too bad.
Balance really the calling card for the Lions, and they just didn't have it on Friday night. Waynesboro beat Northern 40-25. The Polar Bears really struggling with the defense.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough sledding when you're going up against the top 10 quarterback in the state and Connor Federoff, but he just had his way with the Polar Bears all night. 22 of 30, 425 yards, 4 TDs, and the 3 picks didn't really matter much.
Pretty good quarterback there for the Indians. Mechanicsburg beats Shippensburg 45-21. The balance continues for the Wildcats offensively, and the defense just continues to be passable, at least in this situation here, for them to get a big win.
I'm sure that team would like to face a Shippensburg offense every week, but unfortunately it's not going to happen in the Keystone. Elijah Strawbridge, backup running back there for the Wildcats. Nice game, 5 carries, 84 yards, 2 scores.
Cheyenne Brown there as well, and of course Tyler Schubert throwing the ball. Our 3 key games before the week started, Cedar Cliff and Lower Dauphin, and the Colts make a statement on the road, winning by 27-7.
Yeah.
They are 4-1, having won their last 4 games in a row.
And this, we were talking a little bit ago about how CV's been so tested early on, but Cedar Cliff's, can probably chalk it up too with, being, battle tested going into the Keystone schedule. They faced Penn Manor week 1, lost there, number 6 ranked going into the week in District 3 Quad A. They go up against the Lower Dauphin team ranked number 4 in Quad A, beat them handily with, Jaden Demi there. Grant Brenneman got a free pass of the day, basically just got to sit back and hand it off all night. I'm sure he won't complain too much about that. But now that's a 1-1 schedule, 1-1 record against 2 very good teams that they might very well face going into the postseason, assuming obviously Cedar Cliff keeps it up. Jaden
Demi, we'll talk about him a little bit later in the video. Boiling Springs beat Trinity 42-14. That was our single game of the week, and the Bubblers, very impressive, balanced attack. Passing, rushing, and then pretty good defense as well, and they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, and they went up against Hunter Geisel for Trinity, we thought could have some success against this team. The Bubblers have played very good defense for the most part this year, but the way they shut them down was impressive, and it was 7-7, I believe, in the first quarter, and then Boiling Springs just won a 35-point run, and that was it. Nice thing there, they got some passing production finally. Tyler Kaufman, 4 receptions, 75 yards. That basically doubles his receiving yards total for the season.
East Pennsboro beat Greencastle 27-20. Mid-Penn Colonial battled. Both teams were undefeated, and now it looks like the Panthers are in the driver's seat behind a big game from TJ Stallman.
Yeah, and we were talking about it in the preview video last week. We don't want to say Super Bowl, but this was kind of the Super Bowl for this division, and it played like it. I'm sure you got a chance to actually watch it.
I think both of these teams knew that this, no one's going to admit that they are. No one on either of those 2 teams are going to say, look, we're better than everybody else that is left on our schedule. But the matter of fact in this game is that they really are.
Yeah.
And they are the 2 teams head and shoulders above everyone else in the Colonial. And this looked like it could have been the game that decided it, despite being early in the season.
Did it look like at all? Because you saw East Pennsboro the week before. Did it look like did you see a difference in the play?
Well, I wouldn't say it was much different than Shippensburg. They were very hungry to go down to Shippensburg, who was the defending champion of the Colonial. And it seems the one thing that both TJ Stallman and Coach Studer talked about after the game is these guys are new to the Colonial, and to talk about feel like they have to prove themselves in this new division, and they have so far.
Yeah, good start for them.
3 stars, our 3 Sentinel stars. Jaden Demi, we have to start off with him. 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he set the record at Cedar Cliff last week with 6. He puts up another 4. Like I said earlier, Grant Brenneman just got to sit back, relax, and have a soda there, and let his guy do what he needed to. 518 yards rushing he now has the past 2 weeks. I mean, he deserves it again.
And that's why he's been the Sentinel star for the last 2 weeks. TJ Stallman, the East Penn Panthers, the game plan going in was we're going to pass the ball, which is much different than what they had been doing. Brighton Fegley, one of the top 10 rushers in the state, and they said, we have respect for the Blue Devils front. We're going to throw the ball, and Stallman was great. 3 touchdown passes of over 30 yards.
And I wonder if Greencastle was caught off guard by that too, because Stallman he had himself a game. He's shown that he can be the game manager that this team needs. They don't need a Grant Brenneman or a Billy Berger on this team, but to come out and put up the kind of production, that must have been fun to watch.
It really was, and good for him to get that win for his team. Garrett Scott, our final Sentinel star of the week, and he led the charge for Redland in their comeback win over Susquehanna Township.
Yeah, 170 yards passing, 14 of 18 passing, 2 TDs, and that wasn't it. If you take away his legs from that game, you got to wonder if the Patriots would win. 172 yards on the ground, 350 total. I mean, you can't ask for a better game from any quarterback.
You really can't, and the Patriots continue to be an ultimate surprise. They are 5-0, and that West Shore School District in general, 9-1 together, and you look forward to that rivalry games later on in this season, and we'll see what those 2 teams can continue to do throughout the year. Well, that does it for our Week 5 Sentinel recap. We will have our Week 6 preview coming on Thursday night. For Jake Adams, I'm Perry Mattern. We'll talk to you then.